All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, the Richard Marx Rand Paul controversy. No, Rand Paul is not in a band. In case you didn't know, he's a United States Senator from the great state of Kentucky. And I can only say this: he's been on the receiving end of some very inappropriate comments from Richard Marx. Richard Marx was becoming popular right when I got into radio. His debut album had this song called Don't Mean Nothing. And Joe Walsh was on the track. He was playing like this tasty slide guitar part. And the song was just a straight up good rock tune. Got on rock stations more so than the top 40. Marx would then be more of a top 40 guy. He would win all kinds of awards, Grammys, Billboard Awards, American Music Awards, number one singles. I mean, the guy was money in the bank for the EMI record label at the time, and deservedly so. A decent songwriter, a pretty good vocalist. I mean, there are things about Richard Marx's voice I'm not nutty about, but I do think he's a decent singer. Played on a lot of other records or did background vocals for groups like Chicago prior to his success as a solo artist. So he had a nice sort of inside track into fame and stardom and so forth, but it was deserved, it was earned, and those records even today stand up pretty well. He hasn't been completely focus tested off of radio. You will hear Right Here Waiting now and then, and maybe one or two other songs. I don't pay that much attention to Richard Marx. I don't know why, but Right Here Waiting is the song that is still probably earning the guy some decent revenue, right? But fast forward to the year 2021, when the world is completely gone crazy, and he's making these threats, literal threats against a US senator who's already been attacked and been harassed. And I think he broke some ribs. This happened at his home a couple of years ago, where he had ribs that were pressing against one another. He had an infection in his lung, and I believe they had to remove part of that lung. I mean, I could be wrong. I've read some stories about it. Look, you don't have to agree with the politics of Rand Paul. You don't have to agree with it. See, I tend to be kind of a libertarian, so I kind of like Rand Paul. He would basically try to take over the world in order to leave you alone. That's what I like. Rand Paul is a peacemonger. Remember when peace was a thing? Yeah, we're fighting all of these wars and so forth. And remember in the 60s when rock and roll was rebellious for real? And we were sending troops to Vietnam, which was a useless errand, a fool's errand. And we did it year after year. And CCR and all these other bands, they were the soundtrack of what was happening, and they were protesting and they were putting it in their songs. Of course, they weren't threatening anybody, even those politicians at the time who they disagreed with. They may have mentioned them in a song. Then again, there wasn't Twitter. Okay, there wasn't Twitter where you can get this keyboard instant gratification. You can send out words, and words are powerful. Everybody remember the old adage, sticks and stones? Guess what? Words actually do hurt, and they do have impact. And, you know, when a bunch of white powder shows up at your Senate office in DC, after some of this stuff gets out there, you know, maybe somebody should say, hey, Richard, maybe not a great idea. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's happened to some of these rock stars. I know they probably had a certain political leaning when they got into music, but then it's been fed. It's kind of like it's been radicalized to use a word that's kind of common with people who want to do harm to other people. And it's tragic because the guy's got some great music. He is a decent songwriter. He has a pretty good voice. I'm not going to say it's my favorite singing voice in the world, but he's definitely able to sing and write music. And he's had a decent career. I don't know if this is going to hurt his career or help his career. I would think it would hurt his career, but in today's day and age, it might be a resume enhancer. I don't know. I do know this is that it's completely unacceptable what he did, and people should hold him accountable. Now, if you're the type who can put that stuff aside and say, hey, doesn't matter to me, I'm going to go see Richard Marx, he's going to play a concert. Okay, that's fine. I mean, look, live and let live. Like I say, I'm kind of libertarian, and I would say you do what you want to do. That's your hard-earned money. But I'm also more inclined to be part of the whole non-aggression theory or principle. Just, you don't have to be this, I guess, harassing toward another human being who's already kind of withstood a lot of this crazy behavior that has become normal over the last couple of years. And people look at it and they're desensitized. They don't see that there are dangers out there that are real. So all I could say is that, obviously the guy can write songs. He's had quite a career, especially in the 80s and early 90s. There are people out there who are countering with things like, oh, he's a washed up singer-songwriter. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say washed up. I would just say, look, like a lot of people I talk about on this channel, the grunge apocalypse destroyed Richard Marx and his career. Let's just be honest. Even adult contemporary radio, which had all gone very like Lisa Loeb, they had no room for a guy like Richard Marx. He could continue to write these wonderful ballads and so forth. And they would say, you know what, that's so 1989, sorry. And that's what happened to so many artists. But you would think he would still have a pretty good following. He's put out music recently, which I didn't really appreciate or like, but because he's trying to sort of press into this like electronic sound and this digital thing that's going on, and I just didn't like it. I mean, Richard Marx and a piano, that works for me, So in any event, I'm not wishing ill will on Richard Marx or anybody. I believe in free speech, but sometimes there are consequences, financial consequences, for those who I think go down this road, which I think isn't healthy for society and for humanity. And look, no matter what the issue is over the past 15 months, people disagree on a lot of what's gone on, and they've been vocal about it. Look at Van Morrison, right? So in any event, that's my video, and I guess I'm going to stick to it. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do that. Also, patrons, Patreon you can do for just $1 a month, and we can have conversations about this topic or any other topic. My name is Dave. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.